Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you've never been here before. Glad to have you. This is going to be a much needed update video, and I actually have some little notes that I took because this update video has been needing to come for a very long time. So if you see me kind of looking down or off to the side, that's what I'm looking at, just to kind of refresh my memory about everything that happened and so much and so forth. So I think it was around the 28th of April. I'm not entirely sure on the date, but I do remember it was the last week of April, the last Tuesday. I came into the hospital. Well, I came to clinic because my eye was very protruded. Kind of like, it's almost like those googly eyes that you see people put on and then the eye pops out. Almost like that, except my eye was still in, obviously, but it was very protruded, very swollen, not doing good at all. And it was causing me a lot of pain. I was having a lot of headaches. I was having just a lot of issues with it. And so my mom brought me into the clinic for an emergency visit, and the nurses came to do my vitals check and everything because I was feeling dizzy and lightheaded. And unfortunately that morning I was having a lot of pain, and I had not brought my medication with me, so I was hoping to get some medication, and I was also feeling very nauseous. But they immediately sent me to go see an ENT doctor, that's an eyes, nose, and throat doctor, so that they could assess the situation. And on the surface, they didn't see anything wrong, but they knew that they would have to go in with a lot more intensive looks and stuff to see what was actually going on. So, they were signing me up for CAT scans, and I was supposed to get that done, but something had gotten mixed up with the times and stuff, so they ended up going to lunch, and we were going to be waiting there for an hour, but I was in so much pain and I was so nauseous, I really thought I was going to throw up. So I told my mom, can we please just go back to the clinic so I can get my medication, and then we can come back and do this CT. So we went back to the clinic. Which it's very, I know it kind of sounds like, oh, you just went upstairs, but no, we went to the clinic and then we went upstairs for the ENT, but then we had to go to a completely different parking lot for the outpatient CT. It's a whole different area. So then we had to come back to the clinic, and then we had to go back to the CT place, and I did that. And then after the CT, we had to come back to the clinic so I could talk to my doctor, and they admitted me because of my swollen eye and because of the protruding. They weren't sure what it was yet and what was happening. So they admitted me to for that, and my doctor was telling me that this is actually a common side effect for bone marrow recipients. Of course, it's yet another thing that I wish they would have told me beforehand could possibly happen, because not knowing and then just having it happen was very scary. But yeah, it's a common side effect for bone marrow recipients and people with immunodeficiencies, and I have both. So I found out later on that what I had was something called microfungi. It is a buildup of the fungus behind the eye and in the sinus, and I'm extremely lucky because the fungus seemed to be clearing up quite nicely right away, and most people tend to lose vision in that eye completely. So when this started, my vision was mostly blurry, or I was getting double vision. I was seeing two of everything, and my doctor told me that I'm actually the first patient she's had that was able to fully keep their eyesight in this case, which I am extremely grateful for, because I'm extremely appreciative of nature and art and different stuff like that. So I had to get a couple surgeries where they went in through my sinus to clear out the fungus, and I had to get eye injections in order for that to work on the healing process as well. So I would have like one day where I would get a surgery, and then the next day where I would get the eye injection. And the reason that they would split it like that is because they don't like people to be put under, like with anesthesia and stuff, twice in the same day. It can be very dangerous and very, it can cause a lot of complications, you know? So when I wrote this, I had already gone through 2 surgeries and I had done 3 injections, and my eye was starting to look a lot better. It wasn't as protruded, it wasn't as bad, but like I said, I was still seeing a lot of double vision when I had both of my eyes open. But for some reason, if I closed this eye, I could see perfectly fine, and if I closed this eye, I could see perfectly fine. So, but yeah, the surgery, it was called a refraction. Like, they go up into my nose and they scrape out pretty much as they can at that time, and then they pack it. I wish I had taken a picture so I could show you guys what it looked like when my nose was packed, but of course I didn't think that far ahead. But they do that surgery, and I had 4 of those in total, and by the end of it I had to be very careful and be in very sterile environments, because normally you have like muscle and tissue and stuff that is blocking the area or protects the area from your nasal passages to your skull. For me, because all of the fungus had to be scraped out, all of that protective muscle and tissue had to be scraped out as well. So it was pretty much just like an empty tunnel for a while. And the injections I was put under for, because do you really think I'm gonna sit there with someone coming at me with a needle for my eye and just be okay with it? No, I'm okay. And beforehand, before the surgeries and stuff, even my eye itself, there was a lot of pain, there was a lot of headaches, there was a lot happening. It was really sensitive to light, probably due to the fact that most of the time I was kind of sitting like this because my eye would hurt so much. So when I would open my eye, it was very difficult to handle that. But you know, it took a while, even after my surgeries and such, just to get used to seeing normally again and having both eyes open. So, you know, I've been in the hospital for a while, and I've been here since, like I said, I believe it was the last week of April. And hopefully I'm set for a discharge, at least to the hotel, for this coming Monday. So that's good news. And part of the reason I'm going to the hotel is so they can keep an eye on me, and also because I have to receive this, it's kind of like a chemo in the way it fights your cells, but it's not an actual chemo. But because I'm allergic to it, it has to be run over like 4 hours, and I have to get it every 4 injections, like 1 every week. So I'll probably be at the hotel for a little bit, but you know, it's a change of pace from the hospital, and I'll be able to like cook my meals and stuff like that. It'll be nice. And then plus, you know, nobody bugging me in the middle of the night. I know I love my nurses, I do, but when they come in for vitals or for a weight check at midnight and 5 o'clock in the morning, it's very frustrating, even if I am awake, because usually when I am awake at that time, it's usually because of pain or I'm having a hard time getting back to sleep. It's not by choice. So, so yeah, I've been in the hospital for a while. a lot happened while I've been in the hospital. Unfortunately, my Uncle Bobby passed away, and that was very sad and hard to deal with because I didn't really know what to do about it because I was in the hospital. But on the plus side, there were some good things that happened. My birthday went by and everybody made a big deal of it. Some of the nurses actually went out and bought me like special cupcakes and such. I think I might have posted pictures of them on Instagram. If I haven't, I will. So I had my birthday celebration. Unfortunately, I had to miss my sister's high school graduation. Luckily, they live streamed it, so I was able to watch it over live stream, but you know, I wanted to be there in person to see that. I wanted to be there. But anyways, after my last surgery, once they pulled the packing out, they were worried I was gonna get a lot of nosebleeds, but mostly it was just kind of like a little bit of dripping and a little bit of mucus, so it actually went really well. The only bad thing is I had to do these like nasal rinses. They're kind of like a neti pot sort of thing, so you like spray water in one side and it comes out the other side, and it's like saline water or something, and just to mostly see like what comes out. And for me, I was lucky it was just mucus. It was all good, but still didn't make that any fun. And for a while after those initial surgeries, I wasn't doing too well. I was getting a lot of lightheadedness, getting really dizzy, and sometimes the dripping was starting to get a little bit worse, to the point where one time it had turned like right here red, and my mom asked me, she was like, did you have a nosebleed? I was like, no. That's weird. And then my last surgery, I think it was my last surgery, I could be wrong, it could have been like the third surgery, but one of them, when you go down to OR, they make you completely undress. You can't even wear like your underwear or anything like that, and they have you put on a hospital gown. I don't like that. I have to fight very hard not to cry when they have me do stuff like that, because I feel very exposed. I don't know if it's because I was raised to be modest or to be like covered, but with that, it just it wasn't a pleasant experience. But with one of the surgeries, I was so groggy and exhausted after it. I couldn't even muster the energy to get dressed, and I hate just wearing the gown. I hate wearing the gown in general because it gives me sort of like a PTSD moment where from when there was a time when all I would wear was the gown. So I really don't like the gowns. And that was a late night surgery. That surgery started at 8. So it was very late when I had gotten back to my room and such. And around midnight, I got up because I had to use the restroom. And even then, I just put on my undergarments and left the gown on. I was still too exhausted from all the surgeries and the injections and all the anesthesia to get dressed. And I didn't fully get dressed until the next day around 10 o'clock when I took a shower and I got dressed. And even then, I spent most of the day sleeping, and the only time I got up was because I had to, because that day, of course, I had another injection to go to. So, but even then I couldn't keep my eyes open. I was sitting in the procedure room, just kind of laying back with my eyes closed. And as soon as I got back to my room, I just like passed out. And it wasn't until I had woke up the next morning after that when I finally started to feel like maybe I could get back on schedule, get back to doing the stuff I do, you know, morning Bible devotions, ordering breakfast in the morning, doing my reading, doing my journal, which I have fallen off my journal so bad, and I think it's part of why I've been feeling really weird lately, because I haven't written, so I'm gonna try to get to that today, but we'll see what happens. So, but yeah, the things that scared me the most about, but that's pretty much what happened with the microfungi. And the things that scared me the most about it was, you know, the possibility of losing my eye, losing vision. The possibility that they told me that in the fungus there could have been leukemia cells. So I could have had a possible cancer return. And then, you know, the possibility of it just not healing. But the stuff that I did experience was I had my swollen eye. There was a lot of discomfort, a lot of pain, a lot of headaches, a lot of pain behind my eye, like where the fungus was, I'm guessing. And when I say it was swollen, like I couldn't even really open it at all. It was swollen shut. You know how you get those little like eye boogers? I would get those like really bad along the whole thing, and they were red. So I'm guessing that's part of like what the fungus looks like. And I had some numbness. This whole part of my face went completely numb, and so did these teeth. They went completely numb. I couldn't feel them at all. And that was very scary. And then, like I said, I had the vision impairment. And again, I know I've mentioned it, but the headaches were the worst. I cannot stand headaches. And now that I'm thinking about it, I think it's kind of funny that I explained how much I hated having to wear the gown when I went to get my surgery. I was more scared of having to be in the gown than the surgery itself. So, you know, it's been a long month, but also the time feels like it's gone by really fast. I made a friend. She's 6 years old. I'm not going to share her name online, obviously. But I do like to go talk to her and her mom. I think it helps for her mom to have kind of another adult to talk to instead of just a little kid or the nurses. You know, it kind of sucked to have to spend my birthday in the hospital, but at the same time, like I said, like the nurses made such a big deal out of it, and there were decorations, and like I said too, some of them actually went out of their way and went to like a bakery shop and bought me cupcakes, and you know, they made it a really great day. And I was grateful that my mom and my Nina were able to visit that day, so I wasn't alone. I was very tired afterwards because that was definitely a social event. And then I'm also grateful for, you know, not losing my eye and being the 1% that's able to keep their vision, because that's scary, you know, when somebody tells you you might lose your vision. And the other thing about this fungus, this is gonna get a little heavy here, but when you have a fungus like this one, there's also a risk of death. And that wasn't easy to hear. It wasn't something I dwelled on, that's for sure. I just kind of focused on, you know, how positive my experience has been, because, you know, my doctor would tell me how most people do a lot worse than I did, and their eye was taken. And you know, every day I thank the Lord for the miracle that he bestowed on me in allowing me to keep my eye, because I know that it means that he wants me to use both my eyes to see the world and to do good in it. I know that's what that means. So yeah, that's my experience this time around. I am working on scripting out some other videos, like just some fun stuff I want to talk about, or some other cancer stuff to go over, or even bone marrow stuff, which, speaking of which, that's another thing. I'm having some issues with my bone marrow cells or something like that. So that's why I have to get this medicine that I'm gonna get every 4 weeks. And I'm hoping that it works, because if it doesn't, my sister is gonna have to donate some more of her cells to me again. And I really don't want her to have to go through that again, you know? I know she will. She already said she would. And I love her for that. I could never repay her for giving them to me the first time, because she literally gave me a second chance at life. But I'm hoping that things go really well. So, yeah, I'm working on some other videos, scripting them out, kind of like I did with this one where I have notes, but, you know, they'd be a little more cohesive and easier to follow. Like, I know I started this channel just to discuss my medical conditions, and that's why I had to get this update in before I really got to anything else. So, you know, but everything's looking good, you know. All I ask is that you, you know, keep me in your prayers, just, you know, while I'm still continuing all this, sorry, they're taking out the trash, while I'm continuing on my journey and getting this medicine. Pray for my sister, that she doesn't have to end up giving her bone marrow cells. And also, you know, pray for my other sister. She just graduated high school. She's entering the adult world. I didn't quite enter the adult world like that, but I know it can be scary, especially when you're starting college and all this stuff. So, you know, just keep us all in your prayers. And I do have some other videos coming up soon. I'm really gonna try to post more, guys, but you know, with this hospital condition and stuff, it gets hard, because some days you just feel absolutely horrible. Like last night, I did not sleep at all. So I pretty much, when I was able to fall asleep, I fell asleep, I think around, initially I fell asleep around 8, but then I woke up at like 1, and I couldn't go back to sleep until around 6. So it wasn't a good night's sleep. So I pretty much slept until noon. And you know, there's always other stuff, just nausea, and I'm rambling. So let me wrap this up. I just wanted to give this update so that, you know, you guys can know where I'm at right now. And I'm gonna try to get back to, I want to lay out the different events that happened in my cancer journey so that I can go through it in different categories and chronologically. Sorry, it was taking me a second to remember that word. And I will also eventually discuss more about my bone marrow, and then what it was like when I was just living life, when I was cancer-free before I was re-diagnosed, you know? So, but like I said, I just ask that you keep me in your prayers, and just remember, like with cancer, I'm learning just like you guys are. I didn't even know fungus could grow behind your eye. Like I would have liked to have learned about it without having to experience what it is, but that's where we are. So thank you for watching this video if you stayed this long, and I hope you all have a wonderful day and many blessings to you all. Bye.